Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Low Rollers Live, a Dungeons & Dragons live adventure. As always, I am your host, Danny Allinson, playing the role of Bryn Wander. And with me here tonight, we have Jonathan Edwards playing Narroth, the Prince of Thieves.
Hello.
Rachael Murphy playing Iskrim Berzon.
Hello, hello.
Alan Seymour, of course, playing Lady Lilith von Kiln.
Howdy.
We have Robert Seitz, who plays Zarrius, servant of Obad-hai.
Good evening.
Danny Garcia playing Astor Mithlader. Oh wait, he's not here yet. And of course, our fantastic and wonderful Dungeon Master, Christopher Rondeau. You want to give us a hi?
I was on time.
Good thing you were. Last week on the Low Rollers Live, we were kidnapped by a mysterious force from the void, as he liked to call it, and managed to weasel our way out of a trap he had set for us, and dealt with some of the ramifications of getting caught in that trap and the choices we made in it. So now we are back into the natural world and ready to continue our quest in order to defeat the wounded king. Chris, you want to take it away from here?
Of course. The sun is coming up on the town of Vienna. We see the blue-colored tieflings wandering the streets, the fireheads of the fire genasi seeming to be exiting the house and heading to their respective workplaces. Water genasi also appearing and heading towards the farms on the outskirts of the city. We explore the cobble walkways of the town as business begins to come alive. And the scene sets on the inn known as the Legend of Conrad, as we begin after a pretty brutal night's sleep. Last we left off, we had basically people going to breakfast after meditating or talking it out a little bit. One of our players has left the inn to go exploring, wandering as she does. But we're going to open the scene on Iskrim as we wait for our missing player to show up. So, Rachael, what would you like to do in this very, very early morning?
Well, I would definitely want to go check on my horse, Butterscotch. So Iskrim is going to go downstairs and take a look at who's ever in the room, but just kind of in passing. And he'll walk outside, bracing himself against the morning air, and go to the stable to check on Butterscotch.
First thing you notice, it is raining very lightly. So you get the smell of rain, but a very, very light pouring, which is, very mild weather for what you're used to in your home climate. You head a couple steps into the stables, and you can hear the horses neighing in the background until you reach the stall that Butterscotch is at. But you see another figure there.
Where is this figure? Like, is it near my stable, my stall? Is it near a different stall, right at the entrance?
So this figure appears to be in the stall that Butterscotch is also in. Right in there, you can see this figure towering over the pony.
Then I walk straight up to my horse and take a look at the figure.
As the sun comes up and you get a little better visual of your surroundings, you see Bryn Wanders sitting next to the horse, feeding it like an apple core or something to that extent. Some of the hay that's lying around, maybe something like that.
I wondered where you had run off to.
Didn't run very far.
He seems to like you.
I think it might be the apple I'm feeding him.
That and the cube of sugar you gave it the other day, and the cubes that you pilfered from my bag to give it.
And the braids I put in his hair. You can see his mane is braided.
At that point, Iskrim looks exasperated. Like, what on earth did you do to my horse? But he doesn't say anything.
He's got a nice braid. Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, braids are helpful at the tail. It keeps the flies away. But we live in country where there are very few flies. It's too cold.
Yeah, but it makes them look pretty.
So what is the real reason that you are hiding in the stables?
Ponies don't talk.
Iskrim grunts and proceeds to grab a brush and start brushing Butterscotch's fur, and like also goes and like shows Bryn how to do that so that you can find like the tickly spots so the horse doesn't kick you while you're brushing.
Bryn probably actually seems pretty good at this.
Makes sense. You seem to know how to handle horses pretty well. I assume that you've had experience in other places?
You pick up things here and there. Certainly didn't grow up this way, but
interesting. What, to be blunt, what is it you don't want to talk about?
well, I don't know. I think just sometimes I need time to not hear other voices other than my own. Helps me figure out what it is I want to say.
Have you figured that out yet?
I don't know. I'm more tired than angry at this point. It's hard to keep focus on any one thing.
Were you in here all night?
I mean, they came in the morning, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Woke up.
It's like early morning, so
No, I
Okay,
walked it. Go ahead.
The dream ended when at sunrise.
Right.
So you guys all woke up at that point. It hasn't been
okay.
that long
Okay.
since then. So.
Then I redact that question. Shoot, I had a question I was going to ask.
Well, we can go with, have you been here long? And her answer will be, well, it started to
Okay.
rain. And I figured the one place you wouldn't look for me is if I was nice and close.
That is true. Although, I suspect you have a knack for not getting lost.
Well, you can't get lost if you don't have a destination.
But you are with these travelers. You have an end goal in mind.
More like they have an end goal and I'm along the way. Much the same like your end goal doesn't exactly match theirs. Ours.
Iskrim nods and thinks for a minute on how best to frame his words. Perhaps initially my goal was not the same, but since I have aligned with you and your friends, I have found that we can each help each other, and I have made my end goal their end goal, so that we travel together in unison.
You do know what their end goal is, right?
Yeah. To kill the wounded king. Or
What?
trap him, or do something and save the world. At least that was the impression that I was given.
Do know he's nowhere around here, right?
Sadly, yes, I know that this is going to take me and possibly my people far away from their home in order to help you.
Yeah. It'll be a long journey for you guys. Tell me something, Isgrim.
Ask.
This enemy of yours, Trident?
You see his face get stony cold.
Was he your enemy before the Wounded King?
No, he was not.
Was he a friend?
No, I did not know him at all.
I see. What's your plans with him?
Well, at the moment he is raising an army to overthrow this continent, and he's doing it with a fervor that is almost unnatural. I don't know if there's a way to talk to him and turn him back from this path, but from all of the others that I have seen and have talked with that have been overcome by the Wounded King's call, there seems to be some sway over them that they just can't get rid of. So it sadly may mean his death, though that would not be my first leaning. I do not wish to waste life.
Good. I'm no fan of killing.
Unfortunately, sometimes it is necessary, but where I'm from, waste was such a looked down upon thing that even one life wasted is not good.
Where I'm from, there's no such reservations. It's pretty much a free-for-all.
Has it always been that way, even before the Wounded King?
Possibly not to the degree it might be now, but yes.
That's a shame. I can see then why you left.
Oh, that's not why I left. Actually, it was kind of fun sometimes, but
Oh?
I still would enjoy it. Not enjoy it. I still would strongly urge you to find another way with this trident. At least until the Wounded King is dealt with.
Perhaps he won't be reasonable until this Wounded King is dealt with.
There are other ways to deal with unreasonable that don't involve death.
I agree. I just hope that if we can remove him from his position of influence over my people, that my people will begin to see reason again instead of following their wanton passions.
Me too. I'm to say passion has no place would be hypocritical of me, so but I hope it's the case. I hope your people can heal and help us.
Iskrim grunts in the affirmative, and he picks up basically a tool for cleaning out the horse's hooves, and he basically leans on the horse so that the horse shifts his weight and can pick up one hoof, and he starts cleaning it out.
That's enough talking for me for now.
He nods and continues to clean and figures that Bryn can either stay or go as she pleases.
She'll probably leave.
Cool. We will set the scene back now that we have Danny Garcia. Hello.
Hiya.
Yes, we will set the scene with basically, if I remember correctly, Narroth and Astor were going down to breakfast at this point, and is Lilith following?
Not yet.
And what about Zarrius?
He would follow.
Cool. You head into the common area of this place. You basically see several long tables, 4 exactly, with about 20 chairs per table. You sit there. You can feel free to get a section of it. You will see a older tiefling, seemingly pouring out some sort of grainy substance. Upon closer inspection, you'll notice oatmeal, as well as some fruits. And you guys can choose to get breakfast. There are other patrons there. It's actually quite lively for this time of morning. It seems like the people of Vienna are very early risers.
Have we encountered oatmeal before?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, Narroth probably hasn't, because Narroth is a dragon, so... But I would imagine, Zarrius would have from his time at the monastery. Lilith maybe not, because she has money. Yeah, so I mean, you can make that decision based on your background.
What is that supposed to mean? I'm kidding.
Being a monk means you're broke.
Okay, that's true.
Same
Rich
thing with
people have-
Astor.
Rich people have good oatmeal. What are you saying?
Anyways.
It's called porridge.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Anyway, Astor says, oatmeal.
Narroth says, what?
Have you not had it?
What is oatmeal? Is it like second breakfast?
God, we're actually having an oatmeal scene. Okay, sorry, continue.
Okay, back in character. Well, it is a meal of oats. Just kidding. If you've never had it, I guess now would be a good time to get it.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and settle down for breakfast and figure out what we're doing today.
As you guys begin to get breakfast, you guys sort of get yourself comfortable. There's some juice and water laid out. You do also notice that there is a tea being brewed on the fire, which you'll gladly get a cup if you ask for it. But coming from the doorway which your rooms were located, you see 2 people enter the room. You recognize Rack and Shack. Rack, coming in with this straight posture in his sections of plate armor, his mace comfortably at his side, his shield showing many signs of battle. As he walks towards you, his eyes meet a fair maiden. The fire on his head, seems to glow a little brighter. Then he stumbles ever so slightly for a second, and then quickly joins you at the table. Shack follows behind him. Clearly the person who tripped him as he was approaching, walks with a different attitude. He walks with a degree of swagger and carelessness, as his holy symbol seems to swing perilously from his neck, almost knocking over a cup of another patron. In response, he is rewarded for it with a very disgusted look, which he doesn't seem to pay any mind to. He wears a shield on his back, and he has a club at his side that clearly hasn't seen any action since he purchased them many moons ago. Both of them sit down with you. Ah, yes. How are you guys doing this morning? This is Rack speaking.
To be honest, feeling quite lousy.
I thought the beds were quite nice here.
They were. I had a little bit of trouble sleeping.
Well, we all did.
Oh,
My understanding.
drink some tea.
Astor order some tea.
I go up and get myself a cup of tea.
Anywho,
And I asked for. I'll get some for Astor too because he's lazy.
yeah, that's the problem. Anyways, Astor says, and how about the two of you? You seem to be rather sprightly this morning.
Oh, I mean, we came in, got our reward for the bandits, and then, you know, it was actually a pretty nice night. We got a nice meal, which we don't get very often on the road. We got parts of a pig, and then we came here and noticed you guys already went to bed, so we called it a night early.
Sorry, we were a little tired ourselves.
Oh, no stress. I'm sorry about Benny. He was up there in the room still. He was looking for a hairbrush, but he couldn't seem to find one, so we just left without him.
Well, everyone does what they will do. So, I'm actually glad the two of you are here. The three of us were wondering how we might approach this festival that's happening.
What do you want to know about the festival?
Oh, what don't I want to know? I mean, do you have any recommendations, suggestions on how to pass the day? You know, stuff like that.
Well, if you haven't built a lantern yet, I would recommend you build the lantern for each of the person you wish to speak to who has passed. We'll set it at the lake at dusk, and then we follow lanterns down the lake to the bigger lake, Lake Lacarum. So, for some reason, during this time of night, our little city lake will actually create a current where the stream heads into Lake Lacarum.
Interesting. Also, this is a random question, so I apologize if it sounds weird, but have you ever had anything occur where the night before a number of people have nightmares before the festival?
No?
Like I said, it was a strange question. Don't worry about it. But anyways, where could we go to make those lanterns?
It is possible you can purchase one. It tends to mean more if you make them. They're fairly easy to make. It'll only take you an hour or two at most for a very simple design. If you want more extravagant choices, it may take a little longer. But all you need to do is go to a cloth store or someplace that sells cloth, purchase some supplies. Wax is very cheap. You can just for the candle in the middle. It's a fairly easy process. We could potentially make it or help you make it if you would like to.
I see. Well, hopefully this helps lighten our mood. Anything you guys might want to ask them? Narroth and Zarrius?
I'm kind of wondering what you guys have in terms of religious how to phrase this. Do you guys have temples or any sort of religious spaces that a lot of people use?
We have a couple. We don't worship the whole pantheon here, though I'm sure you can find places to do that. But we mostly worship Bane, the god of war, and Cord, the god of fitness.
Those are interesting choices. At least the first one. If you don't mind me asking, why is Bane one of the gods worshipped in this place?
There is this misconception that Bane is this evil god and all he cares about is killing and murder, and and certainly some of his war tactics are ruthless, but we have found that he helps strive for peak combat prowess, which sort of goes along with Cord, who Cord worships being the best of oneself. So maybe the mindset goes hand in hand. I'm sure other people will be able to tell you a little more about that.
I see.
Sounds very fascinating. Where are these temples located, if you mind me asking?
You can get directions.
Okay, cool.
I think it's about that time that Lilith walks in.
Sure, Lilith can join the scene.
She is not wearing her armor, though. She is wearing a dress. It's royal blue, and with our holy symbol prominently displayed. She's not going to be fighting today. She's going to be going to a festival. She's done all up, noble style.
Hey, Lilith, why don't you come and take a seat with us? Are you feeling better?
Much, thank you.
It's great. So, I don't know about the two of you. Astor indicates towards Narroth and Zarrius. But I am considering, going to make a lantern or two. What do you guys think?
Narroth nods. I also have plans for a lantern of my own.
I'll have to think about it. If you don't mind, I might join you guys a little later. If you guys end up going someplace.
Yeah, that's all right. I know this can be rather, personal, depending on how you approach it.
Rack pipes up. Remember that the festival starts at dusk, so you want to, arrive back here early afternoon, unless you plan to go by yourself, of course.
That's a good point. So, shall we say... Sorry, out of character. Around what time-ish is it again, Chris?
It's still pretty early, dawn, so like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
Oh, okay. There's plenty of time then.
Yeah, you have plenty of time. Just keep that in mind. Don't go wandering too far.
Right. Anyway, Astor says, well, why don't we meet back here when the sun is at its highest, that way we can, jostle on down to where the festival is, unless you really want to go by yourself.
That was directed towards me, right? Sorry.
That was directed to the three of you, to
Okay.
Lilith, Zarrius, and Narroth.
That sounds good. We can meet back when the sun's high.
Narroth nods. That should be enough time.
Sure.
Did you
Alright.
guys plan on making your lanterns this morning?
Well, I don't see what else I would do, and honestly, I'd rather start earlier than later in case I, mess up in the creation of one. Which, since I've
see.
never made one, there's always that possibility.
Right. I was just wondering, so.
You can do as you'd like. If you want to make a lantern, great. If you don't have to.
Like I said, I need to think about it a little bit.
Sure, that's fair. So, as soon as we're done with breakfast, I guess I'm gonna go and look for a place to make my lantern.
Once I'm done with breakfast, I would probably head out and try to find one of those temples.
Narroth, would you like to come with, or did you have a specific place you wanted to go to?
I need to pick up something from the shop yesterday. However, I think I will create my lantern alone.
All right. So I guess well, how about yourself, Lilith? Did you want to go now, or what's your plan?
I can go with you if you like. I just want to stop by that one shop that we stopped at yesterday to get some of that pretty blue cloth.
You know, if that's where you got that cloth, I think I might consider just making my lantern there if the shopkeeper is more than willing to give a little instruction.
That's where I'm going anyway.
Astor just face palm and then grins and says, "Well, I guess that's somewhere the three of us can go then."
Cool. Do we want to have scenes for some of this and montage some of the other stuff, or what exactly do you want to do? We
I
can
think
do
you
a
can
thing.
montage it all.
I think we can do a thing where everyone designs their lantern and then you can describe it, prior to setting the lanterns off. And then we'll do a couple scenes between like Zarrius and the temple and that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I don't think Astor's going to do anything specific, so anyone else can take it away.
All right, let's do Narroth, Lilith, and Astor heading to the cloth store first. Let me ask where Bryn and Iskrim are going to go.
Who are you starting with?
Iskrim can see them leaving if you want a quick scene about what you want to do, or you can just tell me you want to avoid the party and we can do it that way.
No, if he sees him leaving, he would probably kind of join in step and go with them.
Cool. So, this is my map of Vienna. This is only a section of the town, but we're just going to use this for the sake of easy-ish stuff. The building you guys are all at is going to be the Legend of Conrad. So I will control your tokens for now, just so we can see where everything's going. I have a map, but that'll be for like legend, but that'll be for me to use. So you have to trust me there. And yeah, sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, sure.
Sounds good to me.
Let's start with Narroth heading over to this place. So you enter into this familiar store where you see the indigo silks lying around. You see the woman who you saw yesterday setting up shop. She has a broom, dusting a corner that apparently she missed the night before. Kind of sitting there. You can see a little bit of fatigue in her face, but no more than any other working woman. And her signature feature is that her hair seems to float as if she was underwater. She is a water genasi. And all four of you may enter.
Astor says, "Good morning, Miss Shopkeeper. How are you doing?"
I mean, I wish we didn't open up at the crack of dawn, but that's just my preference.
Well, I can see why that would be the case, I suppose. Personally, I am here to create a lantern or two for the festival later today. I was wondering if someone here may provide instruction.
I mean, it's fairly simple. We have what is it called? Pamphlets to kind of show you the basics, but I can talk you through it if you agree to purchase cloth here, obviously. And then understand that my customers come first, so I may have to break instruction to accept another customer.
That's all right. If you can help me how to make, making one, I can create the other one so I am out of your hair.
Is all of the cloth in here indigo, or are there other colors?
All of the cloth in this particular store is indigo. There are other cloth stores. You guys probably passed a couple of them sometime in your day you've been here.
Okay.
Well, Astor purchases enough materials to make at least 2 lanterns.
It's fairly cheap. It's about 2 silver per lantern, material cost wise. And we can montage you basically making it with her to start, and then you can make the other one on your own time. But what is everyone else doing?
Narroth is picking up his new tunic that he bought.
Are you gonna put it on right now?
No.
Okay.
He's just going to take it. I mean, he might go into the back and try it on, make sure everything fits, but assuming it does, he's not going to show it off just yet.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, there'll be some sections where she might have to adjust slightly, but basically it's made for you. And after like 10 minutes of alterations, you're set.
Perfect.
Iskrim is going to watch how the lanterns are made, but he doesn't want this color of fabric. So he's just in there kind of watching and taking note.
And Lilith.
Just making the lantern. She's already prepared for the festival, looks-wise, so.
Perfect. So we can easily blow through this. You guys want a scene where you guys pick out your fabrics? Or is that irrelevant?
Narroth is actually, after he grabs his tunic, he's actually going to leave. He's not going to be constructing his lantern there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for the most part it'll be irrelevant to Astor at least.
Iskrim is actually going to look for a fabric that is kind of the light pink orange of the dawn. And then once he gets that, he's going to actually go back to the stable and construct his lantern there.
Cool. So Iskrim can get the cloth and head back to the stables. Astor will eventually head back to the inn. Lilith as well.
Yep.
Astor, what are you doing? Or Narroth, what are you doing?
Narroth is actually going to go to the lake in the forest right beside it, and he's going to be meditating as he's constructing his lamp.
Cool. Heads up, this is a cemetery, not a forest.
Okay.
You gonna go into the cemetery?
No, he's gonna go back to the forest like before they got into town.
That's like a 2-day walk.
Where is the lake from here?
Pretty far. It took you about a day and a half to get from the lake to the town.
Okay. In that case, he's going to go actually probably into the cemetery.
Cool. The cemetery is a little livelier than you would normally expect because of the nature of this festival, but you can find a small area that appears to be rather empty, and there's not like creepy mausoleum stuff going on there.
Okay.
Bryn, where are you?
Bryn is probably checking out the town.
Cool.
Definitely. Go ahead.
Cool. Where do you want to end up?
I mean, eventually she would probably make her way back to the inn. I don't know what time that would be, since she doesn't know the plan. But she would be off making a lantern of her own during that point in time.
Cool. You recognize things like City Hall. Over here, there's people prepping for a festival. It seems like they have banners up to help lead the people from Vienna to the lake. And then you do notice that there are temples as well, but beyond that, most of the stuff you see are shops, inns. You don't really get to the residential area of the town, but unless you spend the whole day venturing, you won't at least. You do recognize the cemetery, where we'll see where you see Narroth.
And what's Narroth doing there?
Narroth is probably going to be walking around pretty lost in thought. But he stands out because he's very red.
That makes two of us. She's probably not going to confront him immediately, but she will be glaring at him.
I'm going to say, given the circumstances, Narroth is probably not going to notice unless you do something obvious.
I'm thinking. After probably a moment or two, or like a minute or two of Narroth not noticing her, she's going to get pissed off a little bit more and then go chasing after him.
Okay. That happens.
Narroth?
Narroth is kind of looking up and looking around. What? Oh, hi, Bryn.
Hi?
Hello?
Really?
Narroth is kind of looking around, searching for what he missed. Good morning?
Wasn't a very good night, now was it?
No.
Are you really... You're this clueless.
Did I do something wrong?
Are you kidding me?
Listen, I haven't seen you since you ran off earlier. I have no idea what's going on.
Did we have different dreams or something? Were you not there?
Narroth kind of looks around. I was there, and I got all of us back from the dream.
You got all of us back from the dream. That's what you call it.
Narroth kind of raises an eyebrow. If you have something to say, please say it.
Oh, I have plenty to say, Nara. I've never been one who's short on words. Do you honestly not know?
I'm growing a little impatient of this.
Really?
What?
You're the impatient one? Like, what the hell were you thinking?
What the hell was I thinking? To wake us up and stop that weirdo from keeping us captive in a dream?
And in the meantime, just let us, be paralyzed and dying.
I told you guys not to fight from the beginning. My strategy was sound.
You think we had a choice not to fight from the beginning? Half of us were attacked first.
I chose to not resist. It appeared to be the correct choice given the circumstances. I stand by my decision.
Oh, so when the big bad guy comes, the best thing to do is not resist.
Well, when the big bad guy has absolute power and is trying to test you to see what you do in the future, yeah, I'd say not showing him what you can do would definitely be the best way of resisting.
Oh, like the Wounded King? Absolute power? Big bad guy?
We were fighting for our lives there.
And were we not fighting for our lives last night?
I was fighting for our lives. I just did it in a manner that was slightly different than what you chose to do. I chose to resist by overcoming the obstacle in a different way. Just because I didn't blow stuff up doesn't mean I wasn't fighting the same battle you were.
I mean, you weren't fighting at all.
I was fighting. I was fighting to get out of the dream, to wake you in reality. I was the one who came back into the dream once you were stuck and got you back. I was the one who saved us all.
And you think that's not more impressive than just fighting?
I think it was exactly the same as fighting. I was just fighting in a different way.
So your whole argument about not showing him what we can do is pretty much moot then?
I wasn't showing him our battle tactics.
Oh, but I thought that was the same thing. You were fighting in a different way. Is that not a battle tactic?
Not a traditional battle tactic. If it were not a dream, things would be different.
Sure, you say that now.
I do.
But when it comes to the actual fight...
When it comes to the fight, when it comes to the actual thing, I will fight until I cannot fight any longer.
Or until there's another battle tactic that might be better.
If I can stop the Wounded King by not fighting, I will do whatever is necessary.
And just let the rest of us die.
I won't let you die.
Sure didn't seem that way.
Narroth looks back at Bryn. You can see his scales get a little brighter of a red color and smoke comes out of his nostrils. I was the one who brought you back. I was the one who saved us all. Don't doubt that commitment.
Thinking, give me a sec.
Okay.
I didn't cut out.
I was afraid I did.
No. This is what I can tell you, Narroth. We may not know when it's a dream next time. Or when it's real. You cutting out early doesn't put any more faith in you.
Narroth looks down at her, trying to, take a deep breath and find his center. Little one, if it solves the problem and saves your lives, I will do whatever it takes.
Yeah, well, in the meantime, it would be helpful if you stood alongside us. Not stand there.
I provided the best way to get out. If you were too busy...
And let us suffer in the meantime.
You were too busy trying to shoot things to take my advice. That was your folly. There is a time to act, and a time to stand still. Not knowing the difference can have you lose the battle you're trying to win.
The time to stand still is before the battle begins. I'm sorry if you didn't feel what the rest of us did. But I'd rather you choose to suffer with us and still find the solution than to watch us suffer.
The solution was not to fight at all. The solution was to stop fighting. In this case, the solution was to stand still.
Yeah, that's the solution he wanted too.
The solution that got us out of there alive.
And you don't think if you had fought with us, we wouldn't have got out that way?
No, I don't. I think he would have spawned more monsters and toyed with us more until that nightmare became all we had ever known. I don't think we would have ever woken up from that dream until someone took him up on his ridiculous charge. This was the way out. This was how we resisted. This is how we win.
If winning is inaction, then I want no part of it.
Narroth takes a deep breath and lets it out, and you can see his scales return back to their normal hue. That is your choice.
You know, for a while, I traveled with Miles, and he said all sorts of great things about you. All of you. About how you fought against a dragon to save this world from the Shadowfell. You know what they all call you, right?
Narroth stays silent and looks back.
The heroes of the Shadowfell? You know, from everything I've seen, it seems like you're more just the survivors of the Shadowfell. And she'll walk away.
All right. Let's go to Zarrius.
Okay. Can I kind of just describe how I left the inn?
Sure.
So after I said what I was going to do, you don't really see him moving very quickly to his destination like he normally would. He kind of just mopes along, almost. Head not necessarily down, but he is definitely a little depressed and lost in thought as he's making his way over to the temple.
Perfect. So you arrive at a Temple of Bane. You know a little bit about Bane in your studies. He is classified as an evil god because he believes in things like basically total victory, where you do like scorched earth policy and that sort of fighting. So it's a very brutal form of war. It involves things like slightly cheating in your fighting so you can get the upper hand. But he appears to be rather lawful, so you know he will never ask you to strike down someone who is not holding a weapon. Very much that sort of mindset. You do arrive at his temple, and You do notice that there are acolytes of a bunch of different religions, but the primary ones are of Bane and Cord, as Shaq said.
Right.
You walk in, and there is a courtyard. There is a place for you to meditate. No one really appears to ask you questions, so you gather some looks, being a gnome tiefling and a different hue than the rest of them. You can walk in, explore a little bit. There is a library there. There are like meditation rooms, which have an emphasis on quiet, so you can go in there, and it's made of cement, and you won't hear very much coming from the outside world. Stuff like that.
All right. I would probably go up to someone first and get just general information about the layout of the temple so that I know where I'm going and I don't look like I'm lost.
So they tell you that.
Okay, cool.
Little library, meditation rooms, but beyond that, everything is probably dedicated towards the specific order of Bane or Cord.
Okay. I would like to go to the cement meditation area and strike a pose. Not like a typical pose. It's not a one where I am like doing a fighting stance. This is not my normal meditation per se. You see Zarrius lay down on his back flat, and then he's going to raise his legs up into a handstand, and then he kind of shifts his head around back and forth and digs his horns into the ground. Maybe, well, it's cement, so never mind. You see him, and he has his arms kind of crisscrossed on the ground, holding his body up. What he's thinking about a lot is the fact that he doesn't know who he could possibly see tonight out on the lake. He hears the rest of his companions talking about how they're making multiple lanterns for their loved ones and friends that they want to see. But due to Zarrius' backstory, he kind of doesn't have very many loved ones that have passed away yet. His father and mother, he's concerned about his mother just because he doesn't know whether she's still alive or not. He doesn't trust Asmodeus to tell the truth. But you can kind of see Zarrius' head tossing and turning, like pivoting back and forth as he gets bombarded with his thoughts, and he starts thinking about his childhood and growing up, serving as a monk for Obad-hai, and he tries to think of people that could have passed away already, and he's not thinking of anyone that was influential enough to him for him to actually want to see. But as he's thinking, he starts thinking about those people that were influential at the temple of Obad-hai, and he realizes that his grandparents, who have passed away, who gave his grandmother was the one that gave birth to his father, whom he hates. He thinks about his grandmother and his grandfather and the fact that they lost their son, but they were elders at that temple of Obad-hai, and how they influenced Zarrius for Obad-hai, towards Obad-hai. So he's starting to kind of get a little bit of a idea of maybe he wants to see Thigari and Hileda again, as they were very influential in his life. And he would then like to potentially make contact with Obad-hai.
That clock.
Make contact with Obad-hai. Go ahead and roll religion.
That was almost perfect timing.
I tried to shut up as quickly as I heard it.
So you attempt to go into your pose and try to make contact, but as you begin your sort of, out of body experience, you get this mental image of the moon, and you can see that bright white grin, and unfortunately that has hindered your ability to talk to Obad-hai at the moment.
Okay. You see Zarrius all of a sudden do really quick jabbing, fighting moves as he is angered with the moon with the grin, whom he knows, and wants to hit, but can't actually physically hit him, so he's doing it here on Earth. He as he is slowing down and winding down and slowing down his movements again, he comes back into like a sitting position, like you would normally see some people meditate. And he slowly opens his eyes and looks around and probably sees people staring at him all weird like. But he's going to slowly get up and make his way out of the cement meditation area and slowly make his way back to the inn.
Perfect.
And if possible, he would like to stop at a shop along the way.
Getting cloth?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, you can do that. Again, it's 2 silver for the lantern. Cloth.
Okay.
Price. Material. Let's go to Narroth. What are you doing after your arguments?
Narroth is going to be, again, back deep in meditation after the confrontation, and he's going to find himself wandering to the nearby lake or pond or whatever this is, and he's going to be walking the shores. Occasionally he'll find something interesting on the ground, a rock, some branches, something like that. He'll pick it up, and he's going from these things. He's going to kind of have an idea and start to construct an atypical lantern using these elements that he finds around him.
Cool. The lake seems to also be a water source, so you'll see a lot of people bringing buckets or some sort of container to pick up some water. And a lot of that's going on. There seems to be collecting a wealth of different people, some on the poorer side, some on who have more financial gain than a lot of other people. You do catch the eye of a couple water genasi. They appear to be going for a swim, and you do notice their attunement to the lake, where it looks more natural for them in the lake than it actually looks like for them on dry land. So you get a lot of that aesthetic.
Narroth is going to see this, but not exactly take it in. He's pretty embroiled in his own inner conflict going on.
Perfect. After that, what are you planning to do?
After all that, he is going to meet at the tavern.
Perfect. Bryn wanders. What are you doing?
After her little spout with Narroth, she'll probably go find food. Probably back at the inn, and maybe a quick nap.
So everyone's heading back to the inn, if I catch that?
Sounds like it.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Astor will be at the end, but after he's done doing what he's doing, he's gonna walk around for a bit.
Perfect. So we'll just bring everyone back at the end for days as Machina sick.
Alrighty, and before we get to that conversation, we're going to go on a quick break. Thank you so much for watching Low Rollers Live. We will be back in just a few minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Low Rollers Live. Chris, you want to take it away as we meet each other at the inn?
Cool. So, for the sake of time, I know you guys would have arrived at different times. A lot of you are probably in that main area, basically building your lanterns. But I kind of want to fast forward a little bit to where everyone sort of arrives. So, Zarrius, Narroth, and Bryn will return back towards the end, within a 20-30 minute period. But we'll pick up with Bryn, who's probably the last person to arrive, honestly. Basically walking into the center where we see everyone there making their lanterns along with the Flaming Furnace trio. And we'll take off there with Bryn walking in.
Astor sees Bryn walk in and he speaks up and says, "Hey Bryn, how are you doing today?"
I've been better, but I got this done, and she'll slap down a lantern on top of the table.
Nice. I'm still in the middle of making mine.
How good?
As I'm speaking to you.
What did John say?
How good is the lantern?
Okay, so I'll describe what it looks like. She slaps it down on the table, and it's in the shape of a flower that has not blossomed yet. So it has petals that are coming out that kind of fold into the center, so you can't exactly see where the light would be in the lantern. It's all covered up with like these leaflets made from the fabric.
Neat.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
Rack will pipe eventually. He's like, "Oh yes, it seems like we're pretty much wrapping up here. We have a couple hours before the festival. What would you guys like to do until then?"
Eat.
I second that, though. After I eat, I will go ahead and just take a little stroll around the area to kind of pass the food down and just think some thoughts.
Cool. Anything of note?
No.
No. Bryn is going to eat and then go to sleep.
Cool.
Yep.
I would
Eat, drink,
make my lanterns.
eat, drink, and be merry.
I'm going to remind Bryn or Danny Allinson that the mechanic right now is that you can technically expend a use of a healer's kit and regain a quarter of your HP. So half of your bloody value rounded down, and you can do this once per encounter. So Bryn can take some aspirin, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Do we have a healing kit?
Miles gave 2 to the party, I believe. Maybe it was 1.
Plus, I had a couple in my stock.
Oh. Bryn will probably ask Lilith if she can help patch her up.
Mm-hmm.
Before nap time.
No problem.
Cool.
And we'll help anybody with a lantern if they need it. Except for Narroth.
Narroth is
She goes.
Narroth is definitely not sticking around after eating.
Okay.
Lilith goes to Bryn, though. She says, "But I have one condition."
Mm-hmm.
Will you at least try on the dress?
Sure.
Okay. Then I'll help you.
Okay. Danny or Alan, want to montage this dress trying on scene?
Sure, Bryn locks the door and tells Lilith she tried on the dress.
Dang it.
Well, her not remembering that I have certain things at my disposal. A dimension door in the room.
Ugh, that's a waste of a spell slot.
It
Or
is.
it?
I
But it
approve.
isn't.
Alright, so Bryn sees a gate appear with another doorway, and Lilith appears.
She's just lying in the bed.
Come on. Now let's see this. Come on. You know I wanted to see it.
Well, I didn't say you could see me in it.
Well, tough.
It looks like we're at an impasse.
Please, as a favor for me.
Look, Lilith, I do appreciate the gift. But they're really not my thing.
That's what I thought when I was younger as well. But once they're on, it's like a whole new light opens up in you.
Lilith,
And you've been so kind to me. I'm just trying to repay the favor in the ways I know how.
I understand. And I appreciate it. But I don't get the same feeling when I put these on. It's much more constricting for me. But I'm sure I'll find use of it. Just not right now.
Okay, you win. For now. But you know I'm not going to give up.
I know. I don't expect you to. But you know I'm not going to give in.
Well, it seems like we're between a rock and a hard place.
One of us will end up winning, I'm sure.
Two headstrong women, of course.
Or maybe both of us will.
Who knows?
Insane?
Yep.
Cool.
Nap time.
So, Bryn is going to sleep for an hour or so, but let's meet back basically 30 minutes before the festival, right at like the lobby area. You do notice that there's a lot more hustle and bustle in the streets at this point. It almost feels like the entire town is coming towards this lake to prep for it. You do notice that there are banners going on there, and there appears to be city guards holding these banners, prepping them to be escorted outside of the city to the lake. For those of us who have a new aesthetic for this evening, why don't we go ahead and describe it? John.
All right. So when Narroth comes back down from his room, everyone who's there can see that he has a new tunic. The style of itself is one of a typical tabard, featuring two pieces of that deep blue cloth meeting in the middle, kind of like a Y on his torso, leaving his arms bare. Embroidered on the tabard is prominently a jade and a ruby dragon, and they are surrounded by an amethyst, crystal, emerald, sapphire, and topaz dragon. The tabard ends at his waist, where his old gray and worn tattered robe has been cut in half, so it's just the bottom half of the robe, and it has been lightly hand stitched with black thread to resemble a large obsidian dragon, barely noticeable with the small threads, but there if you look closely. Narroth is holding a creation of his own in his bag, which is on his back at the moment.
Perfect. Lilith has dressed up as well. Why don't you describe Lilith's garb in a little more detail?
Okay. She is in a royal blue silk and brocade gown. It looks like it has been altered. It looked like it was originally a lower cut dress, and it looks like that she has put a piece around the neck so that it covers up more skin, basically. It is sleeveless, and it's like one of those medieval style gowns where it sort of flows out, and you can tell that she's wearing a corset, and she's done her makeup, and her holy symbol is prominently shown, and that's pretty much it.
Perfect. This is kind of a festival / formal event. If you guys decide that anyone else wants to dress up a little bit, people are dressing up. Even like the Flaming Furnace Trio have put on some of their nicer clothes, though still very practical. But they have doffed their armor for the event. So if anyone else is wearing anything different, you can describe it to me.
Iskrim is actually wearing a new outfit. It's very, it's not black. It's very like a very dark navy blue that's almost black, and it's just very simple pants and a light jacket that has basically a mandarin collar. He figured that would be good to show honor.
Astor?
Astor's not really going to wear anything different because the other clothes he has are just performance attire, and it's not really appropriate.
Zarrius?
He would be making the lanterns and then probably doing some more meditation.
I'm asking about attire.
Oh, my bad. It would just be his normal attire.
Bryn?
Probably just normal attire.
Perfect. So you can basically start heading towards the festival unless there's any last minute things you guys want to do.
Not me.
Perfect. Dusk begins to fall on the city, and you can feel the excitement in the air. This is the festival to be at. You see things like street peddlers putting out foods, street foods like dumplings and various other street snacks, which is very popular among a lot of the youths. In this case, as you look at the youths, you have noticed that there are now humans all below the age of 12 wandering around as well. Everyone is wearing respectful colors for the dead, carrying around lanterns as well. Some of them have donned on masks that seem to have a skeletal face, not as a sign of disrespect, but a sign of recognition that they are going to this festival. Many people are lining up. All of them are holding lanterns, and they begin to head towards the lake. How would you guys like to proceed?
I assume we're going to head there as a party? Or no?
No one said otherwise, as far as I'm concerned.
Alright, so we are going to head towards them. More time is passing. And we will see darkness start to rise, and you start looking around, and there is this quiet anticipation going on as everyone begins to think about what they're doing, and some of them are bowing their heads in silence. You see a young daughter and her father walking towards the lake, saying something like, "Will this bring my mother back?" And the father looking at his daughter going, "Just for the night, darling. We will follow it out to the lake, and we will see the figure of your mother." And then as they do that, they pull out a like a fire stick, light it, and set the lantern onto the lake as the wax lights up and begins to descend towards the stream, following it out.
Do we see the figure?
No, I mean, you have to go to Lake Lacarum, which will be a walk. Like a significant walk.
Okay, so I'm guessing a lot of people are doing this now.
Correct.
Bryn will kind of nudge little brother Zarrius.
What?
She just kind of like points her towards the water. Go on.
Why do I have to go first?
You're the leader, aren't you?
Oh, I guess. I light my two and I set them down like I saw the other father and daughter do. And you said we put Allinson in a stream, is that correct?
It's the lake.
So it is the lake. Okay.
So this is a lake in the city that goes out towards Lake Lacarum.
Okay.
Astor will also light his two, put them in the lake, and then starts following the rest of the people.
Yeah.
Iskrim, he bought a dumpling because they look delicious, and then he went down and he takes his lantern, which is round like the sun, and the color of the sun at sunrise, so it's that kind of pink orange, and he lights it and places it in the lake.
I start giving Bryn a tap on the leg. Come on. Come on. Come on.
I'll get there.
As a point of order, the Flaming Furnace trio has left the party at this point. They're on a different part of the beach. You can see them hovering over their lantern and lighting it, and it will take off into the lake.
Narroth is going to take his lantern out from his pack, and you can see that this lantern is not like many of the others. It was kind of crafted with wood and a small stone at the bottom, and a candle in the middle. The whole thing is kind of attached by some ice that's basically holding the whole thing together, acting as the glue, the mortar, and places it into the lake.
Finally, Lilith walks up and she pulls out a very small but ornately crafted with blue and silver. The silver looks like it is marbled through the indigo fabric. And you just see in very small, like Old English script, the word love, and she puts it out into the lake.
That leaves us with one more person. Bryn, are you gonna put your lantern into the water?
Sorry, I left for a second. So Bryn will let the others leave while she goes up to the water. And she'll kind of kneel down next to it. She puts her lantern in and kind of like folds open the petals of the flower, so to speak. And then she just kind of pauses for a moment, because she's not exactly sure who's going to show up if she lights this thing. And after a moment or two, she'll just take it back out of the water and try to disappear away from the rest of them.
Perfect. So we will put everyone basically at the coast. At this point, you will kind of look up, and dusk is falling pretty quickly, and almost instinctively, all 6 of you guys look up at the exact same time, and you see the moon with that wild grin for the briefest of seconds, until your mind is distracted by a scream. The little girl who you heard from earlier starts screaming, and then you hear ruckus coming from around you.
Narroth, fearing the worst, is going to run towards the source of the scream.
Astor is going to follow.
I would run as well.
Same.
Yep.
Yep.
At this point, coming from the depths of the water, you see energy that kind of reminds you of the void energy from the night previously, but instead of these creatures being the same sort of incorporeal figures, they look pretty strictly undead, and at this point it is causing mayhem to come out of the lake.
Great. This is what I get for not wearing my armor.
Or bringing my weapons.
So, Lilith jumps into action, her being a cleric. She's going to call upon the power of Arathis and try to use her turn undead to hold them at bay, or maybe even destroy them if they're not, if they're just, little peons.
This would be a roll initiative moment.
Oh, boo. I rolled a 1.
You know, just so you know, you're kind of a dick.
Sorry?
You tell us that it's a festival, and we got all gussied up in regular clothes, and we don't have none of our stuff.
I mean, to be fair, this is not the first festival we fought at.
Well, technically, Astor has all of his stuff as long as Dav is there.
I have my
not
staff.
your armor, technically.
I have
my dagger.
I have everything I need.
Well, I mean, I have my holy symbol, so.
Captain America.
Okay, couple things.
Hold on, I couldn't find my token. Go ahead.
Couple things. NPCs are these blue civilian tokens are NPCs. You need to work around them. They appear to be more hindering the situation. There are also more of these blue tokens than I have put on the map, but I didn't want to overcrowd it. Second thing, if you don't have a weapon, you can pick up an impoverished weapon, which I will give it the stats of a club, which will be a simple 1d4. And I'll let you do that for free at the beginning of the turn. Also, potentially, some of your allies may have extra equipments that you can use. I think Astor technically has an extra sword somewhere or something to that effect.
Psst.
Yeah. Is Dav there, though, or is she not with the group? I didn't hear
Oh,
that.
yeah, Dav's here.
Okay, good.
Also, I had advantage on initiative rolls, so I should have a 13 there.
Lilith does not have her shield, so she does not have advantage with initiative rolls.
Oh, well, it's only one difference, so it's not.
Yeah, it's not that big of a difference.
Hey, Chris.
Yep.
What if I told you that my dress was my armor? I just don't have my.
I thought that's what you were actually doing, but I guess if you want to activate it that way, I'll allow that.
I mean, I do have a glamored armor, so.
Perfect. So who has their equipment and who does?
Narroth has his equipment.
Bryn has
Zarrius
her equipment.
Zarrius has his.
Zarrius is his equipment.
I guess aside from his armor, Astor has everything.
I thought you said Astor was wearing his armor.
That's what I thought, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you described that you were wearing your armor.
Yeah, you're wearing nothing different.
Iskrim
Okay.
has nothing.
Astor still has his armor.
He will take that club and use it.
Lilith doesn't have her mace or her shield.
Okay, this
Astor-
guy. Oh, sorry.
I
Go ahead.
was just gonna say, Astor does have a Dow sword, like, on his side if anyone needs it.
Okay, this guy is going to run over here.
Which guy is running where?
Bottom side.
Whoa.
Runs and goes to that guy. Not able to attack. Serious.
Oh, there's
These
more.
are undead. Yeah, so there are these are undead. They appear to be some of them appear to be tieflings, some of them appear to be genasi, which is weird because as you guys were exploring the water before, there do not appear to be any sort of reason for there to have been undead influence here. It all appears that it should have it should have been clear. I mean, the water was clear. You can see through it for the most part. The only thing you can guess is that something to do with the candles has influenced why there are undead spirits here. Zarrius, your turn.
As a bonus action, he's going to dash. Because I can do that, right?
If you spend a key point.
Yeah. He's going to dash down here. And unarmed strike the guy, the undead, try and punch it with his fists. Get his attention away from the civilian.
Sure. Twelve will miss. The civilian does not help with threat.
Are you serious? Okay. I was going to ask that. Okay.
It was worth a shot.
It was a shot, I know. I'm going to try one more time to hit him.
Perfect. That'll hit.
And I will try a stunning strike along with...
So he's stunned.
And that was 15. I have another 5 spaces I can move. I'm going to move here.
Okay. As you're walking towards this guy, I know the mechanic is slightly different, but I think this is fair. This one right here begins to stare at you.
Okay.
I'm assuming 13 doesn't hit your con defense?
That is correct.
So he stares at you, and you like begin to freeze up ever so slightly, and that void energy that gave you the headache from the night previously attempts to take over, but it does not seem to get your grasp. Mechanically, next turn you can avoid his gaze, but any attack against this particular target will have disadvantage if you choose it to that way.
So any attack I do on him will have disadvantage?
If you choose to look away from his gaze.
Okay.
If you choose to take the normal attacks, he will get this attack on you. Lilith.
Okay, so how many of these things are within my purview?
Pretty much these 4, I would imagine. You can even make the argument that this one is too.
Okay, I know you're probably not going to tell me, but are these guys less than 2 hit dice?
I am not going to tell you.
I didn't think you would, but I thought I could ask. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Channel Divinity, Turn Undead. Let's see if I have it on my character sheet.
You're gonna have to get closer.
Okay, so Turn Undead and effect to determine. Let's see here. I didn't put what actually Turn Undead.
Put it in the chat.
Okay. So within 30 feet of me? Alright. So I will move here. Because that's as much as I can move. Yeah.
It's still two of them.
And right. So I'm going to use my turn undead. So just roll a spell attack.
First one hit. Second one hit.
Okay, so for its action, they can only use the dash action to try to escape from me.
Unless they take damage. Cool. Yeah, until it takes damage.
Yep. Then it can retry its saving throw.
It looks like as if it takes damage, it's automatically saved.
Okay.
Cool.
So now as a bonus action, I'm going to look to Isgrim and say, shield yourself against these vile creatures. And he's going to glow with a blue light, and I cast Shield of Faith on him.
Cool. What does that do?
That's +2 to your AC.
Heck yes.
Cool. Narroth.
All right. So how many candles are in the water right now?
Like 50, 60 of them.
Okay. And how many of these undead creatures are there?
6.
6. Okay. You mentioned that these ones were of varying races. How many? What can you describe the different races that each one of them are?
I mean, they're tieflings, water genasi, and fire genasi.
Okay.
They have those attributes.
So Narroth is thinking that if you snuff out one of the candles, perhaps that will end the undead influence, because he's been kind of concerned about that, especially for who he's lighting a candle for. So Narroth is going to, I mean, you mentioned that there was a tiefling who lit a candle, and there was also a tiefling that came out. Now, of course, tieflings are different, but Narroth is going to go ahead and take a guess, and he's going to twin spell control flames, and he's going to snuff out 2 of the different candles that look like they belong to people that are on shore.
It doesn't appear to have any effect.
Okay. That's his turn.
Well, this guy is turned, so he's gonna start swimming this way. Same with this one. Or they dash, technically.
Yeah, they have to
Move him there.
Double move.
This one is going to probably move on to Narroth, seeing him try to basically cast magic. He's actually not going to run right at him, but he's going to make an attack against Narroth's con.
Nope.
Yeah, we'll do it. I also put the wrong damage in, but I will fix it. But that misses. And that'll be his turn.
That
Okay.
misses horribly.
Do I take half damage?
Yes, so you take 12 damage.
Okay.
Minus
Go.
3 because you have necrotic resistance.
Okay.
Cool. But now this guy has made his appearance clear, and at the top of Iskrim's turn, he gets his Death Gaze, which probably misses Iskrim's con defense.
That is 14 plus your con modifier, plus proficiency if you've got it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 18 before you even get your con modifier, so.
Oh yeah, I am so safe.
Cool. Now you're also aware of that mechanic. You're okay for this turn, but next turn you can choose to look away and get disadvantage on your attacks against this target. But go ahead and take your turn, Iskrim.
All right. Well, he has a club. He's not going to rage because there are too many civilians nearby, so he's just going to run up to this guy and attack him.
Why are you pointing at me?
No matter what I add to the 1d20, I'm pretty sure that's not going to hit him.
Oh, but you have a second attack.
Well, at least you're proficient with it, so you get your proficiency bonus because you're proficient with all weapons.
That will probably hit. That will definitely hit. So it's a d4 plus strength.
That'll be 8 damage.
Perfect. End of turn?
Yep.
Astor.
Alright, so what Astor is going to do is with his right hand, he's going to put his index and middle finger together, place it on his chest plate, and go from the left to the right. And you will see the symbol of a fox, like the same type that's on his loot. And as soon as I can press the dang thing, he uses this on himself. Then he indicates for Dab to come into her short sword shield form, and he also activates Blade Song, which I don't remember where I put it on this sheet, so it'll take me a while to find it.
Perfect. Would you like to move as well?
Yes, that's going to be the last thing I will do. I will move 5, 6, 7. Over there.
Perfect.
And that should be the end of his turn.
Is protection from evil and good concentration?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Oh, it's not showing on there. Oops.
At the beginning of Bryn's turn, we're going to attempt a Death Gaze, but probably miss.
Oh yeah, that misses.
But now you are aware of that mechanic. What would you like to do?
Can I see the noise that's happening down here?
See what?
The dude at the very bottom.
You probably saw him exit the lake and Zarrius run off towards that direction.
Well, I'm going to point Astor in that direction.
Astor sees it and he nods.
And then I'll pull. Well, I'll say very quickly to Lilith, if you want the knife, take it now. And she kind of points to the knife she has on her belt.
What about my pistol?
That's a little bit harder to get to.
No, I don't need anything. I have my spells.
Okay. Well, she'll say that and then run off here to just kind of body block this civilian and any other civilian. And then she will shoot with her rifle this guy up top, but I'm going to try to sweep the legs with this.
He's prone.
Okay. Then she'll take out her pistol and try to hit the guy that Isgrim is standing next to.
That hits.
And then, as a bonus action for her third shot, she'll flip the pistol around, cock the hammer back during those flips, and try to hit the guy that's Zarrius is going for.
That also hits.
All right, and that'll be my turn.
As a heads up, water and guns are probably the best thing.
Well, I'm assuming 1 square in, I'm not that deep into the water.
Yeah, you're fine, but don't go flying.
I'm not going to go swimming.
This guy is going to move around Isgrim. Seeing that Lilith has turned undead, he will attempt a Withering Gaze against your con defense. A 23?
Jesus Christ. You roll low for everybody else but me, of course.
I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah, you're not sorry.
So 19.
Mm-hmm. That will end his turn. This guy is going to take half his movement to stand up, and then he is going to attack the civilian and kill it, and starts heading towards Narroth with the rest of his speed. This guy is stunned. Serious.
Okay, so what are my options again?
So you can either choose to let this guy get that attack on you, the death gaze,
the death gaze. Okay.
Or you can avoid looking into his eyes and take disadvantage on all your attacks against him.
Okay. I will avert my eyes from his gaze and take disadvantage on these attacks. I will move here. And as a bonus action, I will cast Shillelagh, because logic. And he will try to attack him with Shillelagh. So what happens is that his staff kind of glows a bluish color, and then you don't see any light anymore, and it has magically transformed into Shillelagh. Is a 19 hit.
Oh.
Cool. And stunning strike on him, if possible.
He will not be stunned.
Okay, but I wouldn't technically know that beforehand.
Yeah, but you know it after it.
This is...
you would. Yeah, he's immune to stun. This one is loose.
Okay. All right. So with that, I'm going to run away from him so he could take an attack of opportunity if he wants.
He has a melee attack, and it's very bad.
Good.
So he tries to swat at you.
Survey says.
Survey says it'll hit with
Survey
a
says
match.
Death.
So 5 and the necrotic.
That's true.
Okay, so
11.
11. And I will attack this guy again with Shillelagh.
This MIDI trombone is really exciting. I don't know why. Go ahead.
It was a 15 hit.
15 will or you have advantage because he's stunned. 28 will hit.
Oh, 28. Oh, perfect. And I will do another stunning strike.
That will do it.
Cool. And I will attack him one more time because of my weapon ability
Sure.
with Shillelagh. And that'll
16 will hit.
Cool. And that'll end my turn.
Cool. I forgot to have NPCs move at initiative 0, so I'll do that now. This guy is Get Foe. But this one will attempt to run past Narroth and to take the attack of opportunity.
Technically, if it was at initiative 0, the guy wasn't there.
No, that guy moved at initiative.
Yeah, he has the
6.
first initiative.
No, this the other guy has.
The guy at the bottom does?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. But he did.
The guy at the top initiative is
Lator.
Yeah, is the stunned one. Lilith, top of your turn, you're gonna try to get this death glaze. I'm rolling very badly.
Nope.
Perfect. Now you are aware of it.
Do I take damage?
Nope.
Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to cast a spell that I have never cast before because I didn't have it until recently. I'm going to cast Wall of Force.
Oh.
And I'm going to make the Force wall something like that. It's like 100 feet. Just sort of so they can't get past us.
Okay. Makes sense.
And then as a bonus action, I am. How close is Narroth?
40 feet. Oh, this is a question. Is Wall of Force concentration?
It is indeed.
Shield of Faith goes down.
Oh. No,
Okay,
actually, wait a
good to
second. No. Wall of Force, no. It's not Wall of Flame and Wall of... It's not concentration. I forgot that's the one wall that isn't concentration. Here, let me cast it. It's just there.
I pulled up the spell. It says Wall of Force, concentration up to 10 minutes. I'll throw it in Discord.
I just looked it up. He's right. Sorry, that wasn't clear.
Okay,
Chris is
maybe
right.
it's Force Sphere that wasn't concentration. One of the Force things aren't concentration.
It's okay. It's a new spell.
Anyway, so sorry, Isgrim, you don't have to.
That's okay.
Anymore. And then as a hold on a second. Okay, so I can't do that. Okay. Yep, I'm done.
Narroth. I'm going to attempt to attack you with the death glaze. Gaze, not glaze. It's not a dessert.
That sounds delicious.
20 does beat just barely.
Cool, so you'll take 10 cold damage, and you realize that if it was able
Wait,
to get...
I've already done this. Can I... Oh, I guess it's too late to take the disadvantage.
I don't think I've targeted you with it before.
No, the other one was the withering gaze.
Yes.
Never mind, sorry.
It's also 10 psychic damage, not 10 cold damage. But you realize that if he was able to get a better hit on you, it would have been a lot worse.
Makes sense.
Go ahead and take your turn.
Alright, Narroth is going to twin spell the fire bolt cantrip at the guy that's approaching him and just, killed 2 people.
Do it.
This is attack the first and attack the second.
Nice.
So this is cinematically, it's going to look like Narroth is just going to kind of, you can see his scales start to stand a little bit on end. His skin turns a little bit more red as he's basically seeing all the people this person has slaughtered, and he's going to spit out 2 motes of fire at this being coming out of the lake.
Nice.
And as a bonus action, he's going to cast Stone Aegis on Iskrim. This is new for Iskrim, so Iskrim's going to notice that his skin is going to turn almost even grayer than it already is, and it's going to remind him of stone, even getting a little bit dusty at times. I'm going to post the description in the chat, but you guys can move on.
Cool. These 2 are going to be... this one is going to attack Astor. Can your con defense, Astor?
It'll beat it, but he's not gonna... Yeah, he'll be fine, but he'll still take damage.
It'll be 20 necrotic.
17.
17.
And he is going to start basically he's gonna go here.
So does that mean the death gaze is negated at that point, or since he did the withering gaze, or
So the death gaze happens on your turn. The withering gaze is his action.
okay, that just thanks. Okay,
24.
Perfect. Iskrim, would you like to avoid the death gaze and take disadvantage on your attacks, or would you like to take the damage?
No, I'll avoid the gaze and take disadvantage.
Perfect.
Alright, so I'm gonna roll. That's the first one. Hang on, let me roll for disadvantage.
It hits.
Cool, the 16 hit? Awesome. So 6 damage. And then I'm gonna do my second attack. Same thing, right? Disadvantage on that.
Mm-hmm. So 12 will miss.
Cool, I don't even have to bother with that. So Iskrim takes the club and he swings it wildly because he is kind of like looking down, so he's like trying to find the thing's feet. And he swings it wildly and he lands one blow, and as he kind of is coming back for the next blow, the creature kind of just moves out of the way.
Perfect. Astor.
So, a quick question. Can Astor tell that these two guys over here, like towards the right side of the lake, they're going towards those people?
They appear to be running without any physical thought.
Okay.
They have been turned.
Well, I don't think Astor's ever seen you do that before, so he's not quite sure what to make of it, but... Well, he's gonna go ahead and move over this way. And then he's gonna use a bonus action to do Misty Step.
Perfect.
And he's gonna attack him twice. Short sword, there it is.
$19 will hit.
Cool, he's gonna add on a Divine Smite with 4th level spell. Plus a 1d8, I guess?
Yeah, plus the 1d8. He is undead. Bloodied.
Wow, yeah, 39 damage. He's gonna attack him a second time.
That'll hit.
He'll add on a second level Divine Smite. $29.
Good enough for me. Let's grab the kill.
So what you guys see is, sorry, is this guy a tiefling or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So what you guys see is Astor is going to swing in from top right to the bottom left, and Dav in sword form turns a white color, and she's going to slash right through the undead. And then for his second strike, Astor's going to pull back and then just stab right into the center of the creature, causing it to explode in a bright white light.
Cool. It doesn't actually explode, it kind of dissipates.
Okay, so he crumbles in a bright white light.
As in, dissipates out of existence.
Oh.
In a bright white light.
Fair enough.
He disintegrated in that.
End of turn?
Yeah.
Bryn. You can choose to avoid the gaze or you can take the damage.
I'll avoid it. Wait, is it disadvantage? Sorry. Is it disadvantage on all attacks or just against that person?
Just against this target.
I will avoid the gaze. Did you have something to add?
No, you're good.
Okay. So after getting her 3 shots off last time, she holsters the pistol and then will kind of do a full rotation with her lever action rifle. So she swings it all the way around, like she usually does with her pistol, except using her entire hand in the actual lever to swing the whole rifle around as she brings it up to her left shoulder and then shoots the guy at the top.
Roll it. That'll hit.
Okay, after doing that, she... so typically, I don't think I've ever described this before. So typically when she's shooting with both of her guns, she moves her rifle into her right hand to just kind of hold it while she's aiming her pistol with her left. So she's going to do that and fire 2 more shots into the same guy.
18 will hit.
Okay.
And 22 will hit.
And then after that, she's going to put herself right in between those two.
Cool.
And that'll be it.
Yeah, I think Lilith is still the threat, so this guy's going to stare at Lilith. Withering gaze. $21 against con defense, Lilith.
Yeah.
You take 12 necrotic.
You know, this guy's really starting to piss me off. He's gonna get he's gonna get hurt.
We'll see. And he's gonna stick right there. This guy is gonna move up onto Narroth and attack him twice. So it's gonna be basically a very slow left punch, very slow right punch.
Holy crap!
That a hit?
Very slow, but very powerful.
Yeah, that was
The first one is going to hit, and Narroth is going to use his reaction to use the watery defense ability, and he's going to teleport 30 feet. Does that cancel out the second hit?
So it would, but he has enough movement to follow you, and he has...
After having
something-
moved that, he has another 30 feet in him?
Yeah, because he can move he can move his speed as a bonus action.
Oh, okay.
Because he's aggressive.
Okay, in that case, he's still going to move, so... He's going to move right there.
He will follow.
Okay.
This NPC is going to attempt to escape. Probably ending about right there. This guy is stunned. Zarrius.
He's going to continue to try and get this guy in front of him.
Perfect.
So he's going to use his shillelagh and take a stab at him. His with advantage, correct? Because he's stunned.
Correct. Nice. 18 damage.
And stunning strike along with that. $21 against
Still
his con.
stunned.
And hold on. Had to get the cuckoo clock to shut up. Attack one more time with shillelagh.
Does it go on every half hour as well?
Yes.
Oh,
The cuckoo clock never stops.
The 20 will
20
hit.
will hit.
Okay. And that will end my turn.
Perfect. Lilith, would you like to avoid the gaze?
Yes.
Perfect.
Which one is gazing at me?
One that's being flanked by Narroth and Iskrim.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is he's really starting to they're really starting to piss me off. So I am going to guiding bolt him. At a higher level.
Who are you attacking, sorry?
The guy that's been
Staring at you. Perfect, that'll hit. Anything else?
Yeah. I am going to move. Let's see. I'm going to move there. And the next attack against the fist has advantage. And I just need to check something real quick. I thought so. On the fist, I'm casting this.
Go ahead and roll spell check. Alright, he's compelled.
Quick question, Alan. Is Compelled Duel a bonus action just for you?
No, Compelled Duel is a bonus action spell.
What the fuck? I need to update my thing then.
The only thing is I have an ability that allows me to cast more than one leveled spell per turn.
Compelled Duel is also concentration.
Oh, it's a bonus. That's right. Damn it. Oops.
Is it?
I believe so.
It is.
I gotta update these freaking spells.
So do you want to cast Compelled Duel, or
no? I wouldn't have cast it because I want to keep my wall.
Cool.
Sorry, I gotta update that spell.
Sure, no worries. End of turn though.
Yeah.
Narroth.
All right, Narroth is going to cast a careful spell using the spell Ice Storm, focused on this point right here. Now in a 20-foot radius, which hits both enemies and Iskrim. Sorry, Iskrim. There's going to be ice coming down. I'm going to cast a spell real quick. The first time I do it, I'm going to attack. I'm going from left to right. So, purple, Iskrim.
You're careful spelling, correct?
Yeah, that just means he has advantage.
Doesn't careful spell automatically means he succeeds?
No. Careful spell means they have advantage on the saving throw.
Okay.
And I'm going to be casting that as a level 5 spell.
Roll it. First creature will not save. Second one will take full damage. And 20 will probably hit.
Oh, that's right.
It attacks
But it's
your
still...
Yeah.
defense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you hit.
That's going to be 12 bludgeoning damage and 13 cold damage. I'm really hoping that you... Oh, but we have it, right?
I
Half
have...
as much damage on a successful save.
Correct, and he also has cold resistance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I didn't save.
Right, so you'll take...
But
I
nine
think it means they
bludgeoning
auto-
because Stone Aegis.
I'm going to go ahead and look that up because I think I misread that.
Well, go ahead and describe these two kills.
Okay. So coming from this, you see Narroth kind of just raise his hands up into the air, and the water that's right beside starts to frost over. They try to swing probably at Narroth because he's, casting a spell, and they know that's a danger. Unfortunately, they find themselves hindered by frost. Before they get a chance to look up, bolts of hail come down from the sky and basically shatter them into brilliant white light that fades away into nothing.
Perfect. Double check that roll while I take their turns. These guys are gonna run away again, off the map. This guy's dead. Iskar.
Hey. Well, anybody Iskrim was going to attack close by is gone. So he's going to move. Hang on one second.
A chosen creature automatically succeeds on the saving throw.
Okay, cool. So Rachael will take 6 bludgeoning and 3 gold, which is nothing for your health pool.
Yeah. All right. Speed. Shoot. There I am. Okay.
25. Wait,
I get 35.
Sure. Yeah, you're a barbarian.
All right. That's as far as I'm going to be able to move. So I'm going to go there. And I can dash, right? And that means I can move again that much.
That's your standard, correct?
Okay. All right, let me get there first.
Also, this guy is long gone.
That's all right. I still end up in pretty much the same spot. So that's where I'm at. And that's it for me.
Cool. Astor.
Move and attack twice.
Hits.
Oh, I'll do a regular first level Divine Smite on this guy.
Okay.
And I'll attack a second time.
$26 hits.
Cool. Another Divine Smite at the first level.
That'll do it.
Oh, well, that was an automatic one anyways, but... Cool. I was just going to say, the way Astor kills this guy is when he arrives in that particular place, he kind of uses his left foot to kind of stop himself there. With the sword, he goes from a diagonal bottom left up to a top right. Then he kind of does a flourish with dab in the form of kind of flipping the sword up, and then grabbing it and then just slicing directly back down and just destroying the undead.
Perfect. Out of initiative. For all intents and purposes, these undead are out of combat, but they're going to appear eventually and be a threat.
Narl's next move was to go track those guys down.
We don't need to do that in initiative or anything like that.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
if Astor sees you do that, he's going to follow you.
So
Yeah,
Narroth is going to do this in a pretty specific way. Is this a good time to say this, or GM, do you want to do something different?
I was just gonna shoot them on my turn.
Okay, so Narroth is going to basically run around and grab Bryn by the shoulder, and he's going to twin cast the spell Fly. Basically, wings sprout from the back. Bryn notices that the demon wings that she's seen in the dream and once before sprout from her back, and Narth's going to say, "Come, now we fly." And he's going to basically pull her as he starts flying, trying to get her to, lift off, because that's usually the hardest part.
Well, I guess justice reigns from above then. That's my one. That's my one.
It's okay. At least from the point of view of this game, it's actually high noon, so we can
that's
shoot 'em
true.
up.
Yeah, that's true.
So Narroth is going to spend the rest of his action doing a dash using his fly speed.
Cool. Any cinematic destroying of these fools?
Headshot.
So I'm imagining headshot on one and firebolt to the face on the other.
Basically, Narroth calls an AC 130, and then we finish off the...
So it's literally
second.
fire and fury.
Yeah.
Dang it.
That's two, John. That's two.
Astor sees you guys flying and he just stops, honestly. Actually, he's going to run up to Lilith immediately after. And he's going to say to her, "Hey, any way we can help the two that were just, killed by the undead?"
Oh yeah, I walk over and are they unconscious or are they dead?
These? Oh, they're dead.
Okay, so yeah, this is gonna hurt my spell pool, but I bring them back to life.
This one comes back to life, but this he remains unconscious. And there's something weird about the way this person has returned. But we'll talk more about that at another time. But this one comes back to life and starts get foes.
So the other one remains unconscious, as in dead.
No, as in breathing, but something's amiss.
I see. Well, Astor is actually going to... Is there anybody else approaching this particular person, or is this person by themselves?
Everyone's pretty much have fled at this point.
Oh, okay. So Astor's going to actually pick up this person and take him back to the inn with him.
Okay. We won't get that far quite yet. What's Zarrius doing?
Probably just making sure that the people are okay around him, the ones that kind of fled from his area.
They get foed.
Yeah, okay. And then I would go back up towards the party.
Okay. At this point, Narroth and Bryn can take care of the two of them, who have fled and
Fled.
Sorry, I'm looking for my closing notes. From the back of your head, you hear the laughter of a Dom. The laughter you heard pretty continuously for the night before, and as that sound continues for a good 15 seconds, you hear war horns going off, coming from the south towards Lake Lacarum, and you recognize these horns as the sound of war. As this causes pretty much everybody. There wasn't many city guards at the festival. They were basically sitting at the edge of the gate. But as you finish off the last of them, they basically begin to mobilize. you see people start forming rank, and they start marching towards the edge of the city, south towards the lake. And while these sounds of war horns go off, this laughter just gets louder and louder and louder as these candles slowly go down the stream, and we will fade to black.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for this week of Low Rollers Live. Just as a reminder, we do broadcast every Monday night at 9 p.m. Pacific. We also rebroadcast Wednesday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific in case you don't want to stay up that late. We will have our After the Rolls post-session talk that we'll do in just a few minutes. So if you'd like to, you can stay tuned. Go ahead and refresh that page, and we will be back with a little bit more talking about creating a campaign. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon.